When we look up and spot an unidentified aerial phenomenon, our minds instantly race to the usual questions. Where did it come from? Who or what is operating it? Most researchers fixate on the biological mystery, the creators, the pilots. But in doing so, we often miss what is staring us right in the face: the craft itself. Look at its architecture. It completely defies every law of aerodynamics we have spent centuries mastering. No wings, no exhaust, no visible propulsion. Yet, in every documented encounter, humanity has never even gotten close. It does not just fly, it warps space, it teleports. This is not just advanced engineering, it is a fundamental challenge to our understanding of physics. It suggests the existence of an exotic matter, a material capable of insulating itself from space and time. Mastering this single material would not just change our technology, it would instantly elevate humanity, from citizens of Earth to citizens of the cosmos. This is the untold chronicle of that pursuit. A global hunt for a cosmic anomaly known as Element 115. A material that many believe did not originate on this planet. If you are ready to look beyond the curtain of classified history, welcome to Facts 360. Join us, subscribe, and step into the unknown. Let us begin with a story that has shaped the modern UFO narrative for decades. Roswell, 1947. But we are not here to rehash old conspiracy theories or debate folklore. We are here to look strictly at the official record. Look at this. On July 8th, the military issued its first official press release stating they had recovered a flying disc. The very next day, a total pivot occurs. A second newspaper claimed the object was nothing more than a malfunctioning weather balloon. For over 60 years, history froze in that contradiction. Until the FBI declassified a memo dated March 22, 1950. The document did not just confirm the crash, it revealed something far more clinical. The military did not recover one disc, they recovered 3. If these crafts exist, and if the United States military has spent decades analyzing them, their primary objective is clear. They are looking for a definitive technological advantage. The government denies it. They always do. But then, a whistleblower stepped out of the shadows. A man named Bob Lazar. Lazar claimed he was a specialist assigned to S4, a highly classified facility hidden deep within the Nevada desert, just south of Area 51. His assignment was specific: reverse engineer the propulsion systems of extraterrestrial craft. In May 1989, Lazar, a physicist with ties to the Los Alamos National Laboratory, went public. He told the world that the government was actively dissecting alien technology. 30 years later, filmmaker Jeremy Corbell sat down with Lazar. The atmosphere remained tense, and Lazar maintained that his safety was still compromised. Consider this. Area 51 is a household name today, largely because of Bob Lazar. For decades, skeptics called him a fraud, claiming the base itself was a myth. Then came 2013. Under the Freedom of Information Act, the CIA was forced to admit the base was real. Of course, the official statement claimed it was merely a testing ground for conventional spy planes, like the U-2 and the SR-71. But according to Lazar, that was the necessary cover, because the real work was not happening on the runway. It was happening south, deep inside the Papoose Range, at S4. Inside giant hangars camouflaged perfectly into the desert rock, Lazar encountered Project Galileo. His task was to understand how the disk generates thrust. What he discovered was not an engine in the traditional sense, it was a gravity generator. The craft distorts the space around it. By warping that space, it pulls its destination toward it, moving at speeds that should theoretically destroy any physical structure. But an engine of this nature requires a specific fuel. A fuel that, at the time, did not exist on Earth. When Lazar went public, the periodic table ended at 109 elements. But Lazar claimed the craft ran on something heavier yet highly stable. Element 115. To replicate the craft, you need the fuel. But how do you manufacture an element that belongs to another solar system? And yet, despite all our satellites, our weapons, and our advanced science, we still do not truly understand what we are looking at. Is any of this real, or is it a sophisticated campaign of disinformation? The answer might lie in a quiet town, Landisburg, Pennsylvania. During his documentary interviews, Jeremy Corbell pressed Lazar on whether he had ever managed to secure a physical sample of element 115. Lazar's response was carefully ambiguous, but the reaction from authorities was immediate. The very next day, the FBI launched a massive raid on Lazar's business, United Nuclear. The official excuse stated they were looking for paperwork regarding a toxic material transaction from 2 years prior. Lazar never admitted to possessing the element. So why did the federal government deploy a tactical raid within 24 hours of that specific question being asked? What are they so careful to protect? To understand what element 115 represents in the grander scale of time, we have to look back to Moscow, 1963. Astrophysicist Nikolai Kardashev was tracking a mysterious radio signal from deep space, Quasar CTA-102. It led him to a profound realization. Advanced civilization must exist, and they have likely been around for billions of years. To measure them, he created the Kardashev scale, a blueprint classifying civilizations by their total energy consumption. A Type 1 civilization masters its home planet, managing its climate, its seismic activity, and utilizing 100% of its planetary energy. Where is Earth? We are not even a Type 1. We sit at a fragile 0.72. We have smartphones and nuclear power, yes, but we remain entirely at the mercy of our planet's natural forces. Scientists estimate we are still 100 to 200 years away from even reaching the first true step of cosmic maturity. Unless we find a shortcut. If Bob Lazar is telling the truth, element 115 is not just a new material. It is a cosmic catalyst, waiting to be decoded. And what awaits us after level 1? Once humanity completely tames the raw energy of Earth, we ascend to a Type 2 civilization. But reaching Type 2 comes at an unimaginable cost. A planet must absorb the entire energy of its parent star. To do this, we would need a megastructure known as a Dyson sphere. Imagine a colossal shell of technology built entirely around a star, relentlessly harvesting its power and beaming it back to the home planet. This structure would be massive, spanning an area 600 million times the surface area of Earth, an idea proposed in 1960 by physicist Freeman Dyson. But a Dyson sphere leaves behind cold, depleted stars, stripped of their light. A concept that has already deeply captured our cultural imagination in modern science fiction. So how far away are we? Scientists estimate another 1 to 2,000 years. Beyond that lies Type 3, an entirely different order of evolution. The leap from level 2 to level 3 could take 100,000 years, or longer. A Type 3 civilization does not just master a star, it commands a galaxy, controlling the energy of roughly 100 million suns. By the time humanity reaches this realm, the line between biology and technology will blur, giving rise to post-biological, cybernetic organisms. Picture a galaxy where autonomous systems replace human labor, building megastructure across billions of systems, drawing energy from black holes, or engineering stars purely for fuel. Back on Earth, one thing is clear. Once we cross the threshold of Type 1, the acceleration to Type 2, and the colonization of neighboring worlds will happen rapidly. It will be the single greatest evolutionary leap in human history. Which brings us back to the laboratory. Could a recent breakthrough in human science prove that we are already on this path? August 10th, 2003. Dubna, Russia. Nuclear physicists from Russia and America fired a high-energy beam of calcium atoms at a target of americium. Deep inside the particle accelerator, a violent collision took place, and for a microscopic fraction of a second, a new element was born. During the collision, sensors registered a localized distortion, a microscopic warping of space itself. The scientific community officially named it Moscovium, but to the rest of the world, it occupied the exact slot Lazar predicted, element 115. Right now, Moscovium is highly unstable, vanishing into radioactive fragments almost instantly. But what if it could be stabilized? Most elements beyond uranium on the periodic table are fleeting ghosts. They blink into existence and die. But in nuclear physics, there is a theoretical region known as the island of stability. If humans can synthesize a stable isotope of Moscovium, a variant with the perfect balance of protons and neutrons, everything changes. This is precisely what Bob Lazar described decades ago: a stable isotope of element 115, retrieved from a craft that did not originate on this planet. Some analysts believe the government intentionally directed public attention towards the unstable variant as a calculated move to convince the public that Lazar's fuel source cannot exist in the real world. They acknowledged the element exists, but denied its practical application for space travel. Yet, the theoretical deductions keep aligning with Lazar's claims. Reality is slowly catching up to the theory, and it suggests an unsettling possibility. Humanity did not just discover element 115 in a modern lab. We may have recovered it over half a century ago, buried in the wreckage of classified anomalies, or perhaps it was obtained through channels we have yet to fully understand. Let us look at the Astrakhan region in the former Soviet Union. Deep within the Kapustin Yar aerospace complex, October 18th, 1947. The Soviets successfully launched their first long-range ballistic missile, marking their official entry into the space age. But Kapustin Yar held another history. In 1948, just 1 year after Roswell, the Soviet Union recorded its own close encounter. Anti-aircraft batteries engaged a massive cigar-shaped object moving along the Turkish border. Conventional artillery could not penetrate it. The object radiated an intense field, disrupting military tracking equipment across the entire territory. Later, a second anomaly, a sphere-like craft, was intercepted near the Caspian coast. Soviet fighters opened fire, forcing it down. Photographs were taken, and elite retrieval teams were scrambled. Just like the Americans, the Soviet military collected the debris and locked it away in subterranean vaults. Joseph Stalin personally reviewed intelligence reports on the potential threat of these unidentified objects, and the encounters continued. Decades later, the Russian news agency Sputnik published an interview with General Zvonimir Yurievich, a former Air Force commander. In January 1975, Yurievich was commanding an aviation regiment in Podgorica. During a routine night flight, a glowing sphere joined his fighter formation. It was 10 times brighter than the stars, shifting colors from white to yellow, and then to deep orange. It was not hiding. It actively sought engagement. For days, the object played a precise cat and mouse game with the military. It possessed an eerie predictability. No matter when the jets took off, the anomaly would appear exactly 50 minutes later. On January 25th, Yurievich attempted a coordinated interception. he ordered a squadron of supersonic MiG-21s into the sky, under total radio silence. The trap was set, and regional radar finally locked onto the visitor. But even the state-of-the-art supersonic MiGs could not close the gap. The sphere effortlessly maintained a perfect 10-kilometer buffer, completely rewriting the rules of aviation before vanishing into the Adriatic Sea. If both superpowers were recovering this technology during the Cold War, did it force them to communicate behind closed doors? Did a shared cosmic reality create a secret global alliance? If the recovery of these crafts is real, it presents a compelling case for a unified global collective. We would need official, mature representation to interface with whatever is operating these anomalies. The physical evidence remains difficult to ignore. In 2015, a US Navy fighter pilot captured now declassified footage of an unidentified aerial phenomenon. The pilot's report described an incredible loss of altitude, dropping from 18,000 meters down to less than 15 meters in the blink of an eye before coming to a dead hover. Under our laws of physics, the g-forces of that movement would instantly crush any known material and liquefy human tissue. The only explanation is an anti-gravity shield, a localized metric that insulates the craft from the effects of gravity itself. The architecture of that craft matched Bob Lazar's descriptions perfectly. A smooth, seamless metal disc, devoid of wings or visible propulsion. Right in the center, an energy reactor fueled by element 115. Anti-gravity remains the ultimate neutralizing force. If humanity masters this, we break our terrestrial chains. We do not just fly into space. We redefine our relationship with time and space. Floating infrastructure, hovering cities, and instantaneous travel to distant galaxies, the traditional limitations of physics would be erased forever. From Bob Lazar's whistleblowing to the classified archives of the United States and the Soviet Union, the trail of evidence is substantial. With decades of research and countless military encounters, it raises a quiet question. Have certain elements within our governments already mastered anti-gravity in the dark? Ascending to a higher civilization is a slow, unforgiving process. If humanity truly stands at the edge of a new civilization, the next century may decide everything. What do you think about the true limits of our technology? Are we being guided, or are we being watched? Leave your thoughts below and step into the discussion. The video from Fact 360 will also end here. I am Eddie, goodbye, and see you again in the next videos. Wish everyone a wonderful day.